Hey friend, Pastor Tommy here, and we are exactly a month away from Easter. So that's cool, that's exciting. You, I hope, are thinking about who you might invite to Easter. We're just going to have one service this year, but nonetheless, it should be awesome. We should also be praying that maybe we could even sing by then. Texas is open. Come on, Uncle Jay, let us sing, please. Also, this marks the anniversary, or very close to the anniversary, of when we were told 2 weeks to stop the spread. Anyhow, you know, when I became the senior pastor at New Hope about 15 years ago, or when I came on staff about 15 years ago, the EPC, our denomination, came out with a recommended policy for sessions that every 7 years, they would send their pastors on a 12-week sabbatical to rest and refresh and to study and do all of these things. And so some of you might be thinking to yourself, okay, Tommy, you've been here for 15 years and the EPC and our session says you should be taking a sabbatical every 7 years. Why haven't you yet? Well, the answer is pretty simply that I hit 7 years and we started to plan for a sabbatical, and then a major crisis happened in the church. That happened 8 times in a row. This year is the 8th time. And so Judy and I had planned on going on sabbatical in April, from April 11th to July 11th. And it's not that COVID happened, just COVID never ended. So we started a plan because we thought it was 2 weeks to stop the spread. And it just never ended. And so any place we would go or anything we wanted to do is still either canceled, or it is still shut down or closed down or locked down. And so we decided it just wasn't a good idea. So maybe in the fall we will try again. And by the way, sabbatical is also good for the congregation, right? It'd be good for y'all to be without me for a while. That's for sure, I bet. Anyhow, with all of that said, what am I going to do instead if I'm not going to take sabbatical this year, or at least this spring? Well, Judy and I are going to take a couple weeks off after Easter, and then when I get back from Easter, we are going to start a new sermon series. And the new sermon series is going to be about race, racism, ethnicity, the nations, missions, and I think it's going to be great. And so we're going to basically do it for the whole summer. And the question is, why? Why are we going to do this sermon series on race and ethnicity? I mean, it's probably going to be called, by the way, either From Every People and Nation or Look Who's Coming to Dinner, if you're familiar with that reference. Either way, why would I do that? Because in many ways, preaching a sermon series on race or racism and ethnicity, in some ways, it feels like you're just kicking the hornet's nest. Well, those of you who know me know I'm not afraid to kick the hornet's nest, or I'm too dull to not kick the hornet's nest. However, it bears directly upon our church's mission, right? I'm part of the Revelation 7:9 commission for our denomination about making churches more multi-ethnic and reaching their communities. Well, if you are from our church, you know that we are now the 8th most diverse city in the United States. Kent is. And so if we as a church are going to be welcoming to people who are, if you drew a 5-mile circle around our church, every tribe and nation would be in there. So if we're going to be welcome, if we're going to be educated about what the Bible says about race and ethnicity and that kind of thing, I feel like as the pastor, I actually need to address it if we are going to do that. Because at the end of the day, most of us are pretty ignorant about what the Bible says about race and racism and issues of ethnicity. And when you have an eye for it, it pops up all the time. So if you get a chance, just for the heck of it, look up Numbers chapter 12, starting at verse 1, where Aaron and Miriam are confronting Moses about his new Cushite wife. Well, who are the Cushites? Well, Cushites were black Africans. So Moses marries a black woman, and his family isn't too happy about it. And God has something to say about it. There's things like that all throughout the Old Testament and, of course, New Testament. Paul says there's neither Jew nor Greek, male nor female. He said those things for a reason, because issues of race and ethnicity have been at the heart of a lot of the church's struggle, but also they're at the heart of a lot of the church's vision. In fact, it is the vision of the church that you would have people from every tribe, tongue, and nation gathered around the throne of Jesus. I'm excited to dive into it. And I like criticism. What can I say? That said, this weekend's sermon is about Luke chapter 15. And Luke chapter 15 is another great passage, right? All the passages that the Jesus Storybook Bible chose are pretty much like great passages. That's why they're in there. And however, I disagree with the Jesus Storybook Bible this week a little bit. The title of the story in the Jesus Storybook Bible about the parable of the prodigal son, the title they give it is Running Away. And if it was me, I would have entitled it something different. Probably something like Coming Home, because that's really what it's all about. The question isn't whether the younger son loves the father or the older son loves the father. The question is, does the father love the younger son? And does the father love the older son? And can they come home if they want to? And the answer, of course, is yes. If you want to find out the rest of the story, tune in this weekend at 10 a.m. on YouTube, or come in person. I would love to see you. So have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you, I hope, on Sunday, and we will talk more next week. Pastor Tommy, out.